Yeah.
There it is. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, everyone, everywhere, depending on where you are and when you are watching. In the East Coast of Philadelphia, we are under a snow watch, or we're at the end of our snow watch. So especially to our family and friends in Africa, I wish I was there. Today's topic is preventive medicines. And how do we keep ourselves healthy during this pandemic, quarantine, and self-isolation? It is so easy to sit back, eat out of loneliness, eat out of fear, eat out of feeling abandoned, miss our doctor's appointments. But how do we make the turnaround and change these bad habits into good habits and good focus? I'm your co-host, Ambassador Lisa Parks, and welcome to Africaonline TV. If you're tuning in on Facebook and you want to join the conversation, join us on Zoom, 514-199-854. That's 514-199-854. And now the editorial from my co-host, Nia-san. Take it away, my brother.
Thank you, my dear sister, and welcome to everyone on the show today. We are looking for more people to join, and we are very happy to be here, even though there is the snow out there and it's so cold, you can't even step outside, let alone show your nose outside. It's so cold. Yes, that said, well, it's doing its own thing. We have to do our own. We cannot run away from ours, even though you have to learn to escape from something. Just listen. January 30th is the 30th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar. That leaves us with 335 days until the end of the year. Of several things to celebrate today or to think about, well, why not these? National Croissant Day. Somebody was talking about eating. Okay, do you care for a croissant at dinner? Well, not today. Croissants are better at breakfast. National Escape Day. Are you going to escape from the pandemic? There is no corner to hide from the pandemic. It's everywhere. So we cannot escape, but it is National Escape Day. Or are we going to escape from some scary political talk or nothing at all, or just escape from action? No, we cannot just stay without doing something. We have to act. School Day of Nonviolence and Peace. That's another name for things people have put together for today. So what are we escaping from? Nonviolence? Yes, of course, certainly, because we don't want violence to stand in our way. Not when we know that violence breeds war and war breeds, well, what again? Think of it. Think of the Ukraine, but forget about it. It's not going to happen. The Lord will prevent it. So that said, how about getting started with a quote from someone who was born on January 30th? That personality is none other than Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd president of these United States. He was born on January 30, 1882. Franklin D. Roosevelt left the world with many interesting things, many interesting words. One of the quotes from him that we got for today, which he actually pronounced on January 9th, 1940 reads, quote, "We must scrupulously guard the civil rights and civil liberties of all citizens, whatever their background. We must remember that any oppression, any injustice, any hatred is a wedge designed to attack our civilization." Well, to attack our civilization. I was going to continue, but I thought I should end there. So Franklin D. Roosevelt telling us that we need to escape from violence. We need to avoid oppression of any kind, of any form, and be ourselves. And so with those words in our minds, let us turn our attention to our topic, preventive healthcare. To prevent, of course, implies ensuring that something does not happen. So we have to prevent any conflict in the East, yes, between Russia and Ukraine. We don't do politics here, so forget about that. So to talk of preventive healthcare is what concerns us this afternoon, this evening, or this early morning, depending on your part of the world, because the world is round and it starts from one end and ends at the other end. So what are we talking about again? Preventive healthcare, which implies, of course, ensuring that we stay free from disease or other ailment that might jeopardize our health. It means stitching in time to ensure that a situation and or condition doesn't deteriorate or get out of hand. A month into another new year, yes, it's the end of January. So we're thinking about what it is going to look like for the next 11 months. So that is why we thought that talking preventive healthcare was timely at this time of the year. Preventive healthcare thus requires that each human being treats his or her body as they would treat their car, their roof, it could leak, their kitchen, if it gets dirty, your health will be endangered, or some other precious possession. Well, ladies take care of their jewelry and they take care of their hair. Yeah, all those are things they take care of, preventive, to be sure that nothing gets too bad. As we age, the body requires regular checkup. This calls for routine visits to the doctor, generalists and specialists alike. But how often do we do that? We take the car regularly for servicing, but do we visit the doctor or the dentist as often? Do we visit other healthcare providers as regularly? If no, why not? With that knowing the mind, Africaonline Media Corporation invites you to share what you know and do about your health. Do you believe in that adage that a stitch in time saves 9? Preventive healthcare is important and invites us to bring in our experts and healthcare professionals to help raise awareness and seek solutions in a way that will educate us to put our money where our health needs to be. And that is that we have to ensure that we are healthy and practice healthy practices or procedures on a regular and routine basis. In that light, we need to listen to our hearts and to our experts because, quote, preventive care helps detect or prevent serious diseases and medical problems before they can become major. Annual checkups, immunizations, and flu shots, as well as certain tests and screenings, are a few examples of preventive care measures that we have to take, as our panelists will certainly further tell us more about what we should do to stay healthy and to keep away the diseases. I hear at one point they say an apple a day keeps the doctor away, but the doctors will be without jobs if we eat apples every day and keep them away. Anyway, I'm not saying that Dr. Bitazon will be kept away. So I'm going to Houston to ask our chair, Reverend Palm, to welcome all of us on board and get this discussion started. Reverend Palm.
Niason, thank you so much. Dr. B will never be out of a job. She's too needed. The one, you know, thank you so much, Niason. Ambassador Lisa, I love your background. Looks like I had a reading to me. You know, you are awesome. You always have the appropriate background. And I think you have faith. Is that hope and love? You're blocking the middle one. But I'm sure the three of them go together. See, I got it.
Faith, hope, and love.
So yeah, you can come back on, sorry. You know, but thank you so much. I mean, those are preventative measures, you know, faith, hope, and love, you know. But on behalf of Africaonline Media Corporation, I want to welcome all of you. Nia Song, you're awesome. Ambassador Lisa, you're awesome. Sister Ruth, you're awesome. And please find out, search your archives. Let me know where that background is, because I love to go there. You know, Brother Ronald, you're awesome. Thank you for keeping me as some company. And so that way this show is not just girls. And my beautiful, oh my God, naturally beautiful, faithful, amazing. And I'll stop because we just have 90 minutes on this show. Dr. Bitazon, you are awesome, you rock. And we have a new helper here, my niece, but you won't see her face and she doesn't need to show her face. Clarissa, thank you so much. Clarissa just turned 17, but she's gonna be helping us upload our shows on YouTube. So thank you so much, my dear. I know a lot of your friends are doing something else on this Sunday morning, but you're committed, so I appreciate you. She's also going to go back and try to catch up with the other shows that have not been uploaded on YouTube. But that apple a day, keep a doctor away. I don't believe in that anymore. Apples are loaded with fructose, with sugar. For those who are trying to stay away from inflammation, or apple is not a bad fruit, but it's not a thermic fruit either. So I'm glad we have Sister Ruth and Dr. B here to speak. Nia Song, did you say today was National Croissant Day?
Yes.
I hope you will not have brought us a croissant, because this morning, after service, I was craving pancakes and I made banana pancakes, which I'm not proud of. I should not be eating banana pancake. I need to stay away from inflammatory foods, But Dr. B, just so you know, most of it was organic bananas and organic eggs. I had just 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour in it, but I need to stay away completely. I bring that up because I love croissants. Who doesn't? I love croissants.
Me too.
If you're from a French country, like some of us here, we know when it comes to pastries, oh my God. But anyway, Nia, so I wish you not have brought that, but thank God I don't have croissants. I don't buy them anymore. I only buy them when I have family. So I am so excited that we have our amazing sisters to talk to us about preventive health and preventive medicine. January is a good time to start making life transformation. I'm not going to proclaim anything, because I've proclaimed things on this show and either blame it on the pandemic or blame it on somebody else. So I'm not going to proclaim anything. I will listen and I will contribute, but I'll just let my actions speak, and the results will be obvious on this show. So Dr. B, if it's okay with the anchors, I would like to pose the first question.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, Dr. B, when we were growing up in Cameroon, they used to give us something called Sunday. For those who don't know, it was an anti-malaria, it was a malaria prophylaxis. I think there was one called Daraprim that we used to take. Even in secondary school, the Reverend Sisters used to give those to us to keep us from contracting malaria. Dr. B, I don't know if they're still doing that. Maybe they are, I'm not sure. It's been a while since I left the country, but I don't know what your take on that is with medication. And I know you are very big on eating healthy. So, but I want you to address that Sunday thing. We call it Sunday because they usually give it to us on a Sunday. That's not the name of the medication. Please don't go and be Googling a drug called Sunday. That's not what I said. So Dr. B, I want you to address that, prophylaxis, share medications, and what the benefits are and what the downsides are.
I don't know what is going on in Cameroon right now, but I do recall when we were growing up, like you said, every Sunday, we used to get, I think, Nevaquin or chloroquine, and those things they didn't taste good at all, bitter.
Yeah.
And we used to play all kind of tricks. So our parents learned the tricks and they came along with the tricks too. So you would try to run to the bathroom when they gave you the pill so you could go spit it out. And at some point, if you had to use the restroom, you swallow the pill, you open your mouth, you look under your tongue, make sure there was nothing there before they let you go. So there's a good and a bad side to everything, I think, especially with these prophylactic anti-malarials and stuff. And I think I'm looking beyond that now to bigger things. So yes, while they may have helped to prime the body to fight malaria, the problem is that they also increase the risk of developing antibiotic medication resistance.
Yes.
So when you did have the malaria was already familiar with that drug, and the drug would not respond, and the malaria parasite would not respond to that drug treatment. So that's something we always have to think about, especially with parasites or antibiotics and all those kind of medications. You want to always think about resistance, because it's much harder to develop a new medication than to get an infection. So right now, the goal is I would say that, our parents did the best that they could at that time, but I think we Africans and people that live in these endemic areas need to move forward. We need to stop poisoning our body with pills if we don't have to. Remember, pills are important, but you don't take them if you don't have to. What do we need to do? We need to keep our environments clean. We need to basically improve our hygiene, because when you improve the hygiene status of the environment, it reduces the risk of a malaria parasite building up and multiplying. So you don't have to worry about malaria half as much. We have swampy areas in this country, in the US, and people don't get malaria as much. And part of it is because they're committed to preventing growth of the malaria parasite. So in those places, they may have standing water and so on. But one of the things is you try to reduce that as much as possible. But in other places, they do occasional spraying of those waters so that the parasites cannot grow there.
Yeah.
And I think, that is, again, we're still fighting with the whole concept, but that is part of the prevention that reduces the load or the burden of medications that we have to take. I'm not sure if that answers your question, but
no, you did, and I'm glad you touched on the resistance. I didn't want to bring that up because I'm here as a participant, not as a special guest. But I just wanted, that just came. It's not like I thought about it earlier. That just came when I was welcoming everybody. So I thought I should pose it out there because it is a chronic problem on the continent. It's an endemic problem. As a matter of fact, I'll call it, well, I won't call it a pandemic problem because it's mostly on the continent. But I'm hoping that our people would think twice about those things, and if they are taking the Sunday, when they get sick, they don't take the same medications that they were taking for prophylaxis, even though their choices are limited. Most of them are in the queen family, the chloroquine or even this quinemax and all those. They are all, and some of them they itch like crazy. So another thing is, I'm not sure mefloquine is in that family too, but mefloquine has problems been linked to brain issues, side effects. So I'm hoping that our people would think twice about those instead of taking those Sundays, maybe put in the mosquito net. Do the spray in my neighborhood here during the time when there are mosquitoes. There's a guy called Mosquito Joe. He comes and sprays the neighborhood so we don't see them. And the cleanliness, keeping the environment clean, because standing water is heaven for mosquitoes. So you did answer the question. I'm going to hand back over to the anchors, but I want to acknowledge Sister Nancy, who you can tell from her, as beautiful as she looks like Sister Ruth. They look like twins, but they're sisters. I don't know what the age difference is, but back over to Niason.
Thank you very much. And yes, no, Dr. B, Dr. B, go ahead.
I just wanted to throw something in real quick, as Reverend Pam was talking about. In those medication things, there are other things, as we were talking, they just came to my mind. The first thing is, one of the reasons why I really love to come to these platforms is because I need to remind us Africans that we are no different from anybody else.
Yes.
God made all of us, we have the same brains, we have the same capacities, but we have chosen to chronically underperform. And we need to wake up from sleep. Nobody's going to wake you up from sleep. You need to wake yourself up from sleep.
Yes.
We are not going to be waiting for other people to come and solve our problems. If we don't solve their problems, they're not going to come solve ours. We Africans have enough brains, we have enough resources, we have enough human capacity to do this. And we need to stop making excuses. We need to stop, it boils down from the top to the bottom. We are out of excuses. And then the other thing again, too, which part of it has to do with governance, the part of it has to do with our chronic underperformance, is that even those medications, we don't have good quality assurance measures. So we don't even know if what we're taking is even what they really say.
Counterfeit. That's another show. Counterfeit.
Yes. So if we are taking these medications, we can't even guarantee. And I would say that things have gotten worse over time because the governmental structure has broken down somewhat. So we don't even know what we're getting. Yeah. And so there are just so many layers of uncertainty with these medications that I think the bigger picture is for us to take charge of our lives and stop waiting for other people and stop blaming other people.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And on a personal note, I grew up in the forest and we lived on nature. So we had this real, I don't know the biological or biological name, whatever name, the
chemical name,
bitter leaf, the real bitter leaf. Our parents made us eat the fresh leaves of bitter leaf. We did not have Sunday to Sunday, but we ate those fresh leaves of bitter leaf. And I think they kept us healthy because we never had fever as such.
Niason, your parents were ahead of their time because bitter leaves are now sold. They've been packaged in pills. And unfortunately, those of us from Cameroon who love Dole, we squeeze out the life out of the bitter leaf and cook the calf. It's very, very bitter. Ambassador Lisa, you put bitter leaf in your mouth, your mouth will stay bitter until Jesus comes, until the rapture. That's how bad it is. So we wash out the bitterness, you know, and so I'm glad your parents, I don't know how they got you guys to eat that bitter stuff, but they were actually practicing good medicine.
Yes. Yes.
That is it. That's how it is. So Ambassador Lisa, without taking the steam out of you, I want just for Dr. Bitazon to tell us what exactly, if I was wrong in my analysis, what exactly is preventive health care from a professional standpoint?
So preventive healthcare, you said it just right. You know, it's basically trying to avoid problems as best as we can. And from a preventive medicine standpoint, there are 4 levels of prevention. There's what we call primordial, then there's primary, secondary, and tertiary. Primordial is what you do to actually remove the risk factors. So for example, if you eat very healthy, then you reduce the risk of even having high cholesterol. Awesome. If you take your vaccines, you reduce the risk of getting, if you reduce the risk of getting certain infections that can be prevented with vaccinations. If you have clean water, or if we talked about the environment, if you keep it clean, you reduce the risk of proliferation of mosquitoes and other things. So these are all primordial, removing the risk of disease completely. Awesome. We can do that with a lot of things, but not with everything. And then primary prevention is basically things that you do to catch problems before they become problems. So for example, your regular doctor's visits, your screenings, and even vaccination can fall in that, but more like your regular doctor's appointments. You go to the doctor when you're not sick. If you think about it, I think most people can relate with cars. When at home, when people want to travel, they take their car to the shop so that they can check it, top the oil and all those things. Here we go for our routine health visit, a wellness visit. That is primary prevention, because you're looking for any signs of any potential problems and you address them before they become big problems. So if, for example, you may go to your doctor and see your cholesterol is a little elevated or your blood sugar is a little elevated. Perhaps at that point you don't have heart disease yet, or you don't have diabetes yet, or your blood pressure kind of looks a little off, you know, and off is anything above 120/80, but again, it's age dependent. So the older you get, the more leeway we give you. But we look at those things and we say, hey, you know, these numbers don't look good. We need to be careful. We need to start watching what we're eating. You need to exercise more. You need to get better sleep. If you're smoking or drinking, you need to mind that. If you're stressing a lot, you need to take care of that. So that way we can prevent that from progressing into the actual disease, right? So if we can see your blood pressure and start working on it, or your cholesterol, and we can make some changes, then that's primary prevention. So we prevent you from going into cholesterol or heart disease or clogging of your blood vessels or diabetes or outright hypertension. And then secondary prevention is when you've already caught a disease and you're trying to keep it from becoming a bigger problem. So for example, you go in, your doctor already diagnoses you with high blood pressure. At that point, you already have the disease. So we are past primary prevention. Now we're trying to prevent you from developing all the complications associated with that disease. So we want to protect your eyes, we want to protect your brain, we want to protect your kidneys, we want to protect your heart. Those are the big ones when it comes to blood pressure. Because you can have a stroke, you can have damage to your eyes, you can have enlarged heart. First, your heart gets bigger and then it becomes weak and enlarged and eventually heart failure. Or you can have damage to your kidney. And a lot of people that don't control their blood pressure well, eventually they end up with kidney damage, end-stage kidney disease. Yeah. So in primary prevention, our goal is to, in secondary prevention, our goal is to stop you from progressing to complications of the already existing disease. Same thing with diabetes. With diabetes, we want to make sure that you don't develop complications of diabetes. So control it better. That way you don't end up with the neuropathy, the eye damage, brain damage. There's so much more to diabetes, even Alzheimer's, memory issues that is associated with high blood sugars. Your heart gets damaged, your kidneys, everything in your body gets damaged. So that again is secondary prevention. And then with cholesterol, we're looking to make sure that you don't build up plaques in your arteries and so on. So if we can bring those numbers down, the risk of you developing diseases that are associated with high cholesterol significantly reduced too. So that's secondary. And then tertiary prevention is when you've already gotten into trouble. So you've already had a complication, and now we're trying to give you the best quality of life. So let's say you've had a stroke, right? We want to prevent you from getting another stroke from high blood pressure. We want to prevent you from becoming bedridden. We want to try to minimize the blowback from this disease. So if you had a stroke now, we want to rehabilitate you, maybe get you some physical therapy and so on. So we get you functional again, because that helps you to take better care of yourself. If you've had diabetes and you've already lost an eye, okay, maybe we want to preserve the next eye, or perhaps we want to make sure that you don't fall and break a hip or a bone, you know. So there are many things, and that is where tertiary comes in. So no matter where a patient is or where you show up with your doctor, there's something that they can do to minimize your risk of progressing to the next worst level.
Wow, can I just say
Lisa, yeah.
Lisa, real quick, Dr. B, you are my sister for life. I really, really appreciate you, because you know how to break it down. To be honest with you, I've never looked at preventive health, and what you just shared right now is going to stay in my brain. It's not going anywhere. Thank you so much. If somebody was to ask me a question out there, I would have considered primordial and primary as the same thing. Thank you so much. I really want to appreciate you. And a lot of our people are going to be blessed by this. Thank you so much. I just wanted to make that comment. Ambassador Lisa.
Yes, thank you, Dr. B. That was good. I've never thought about preventive health in that kind of context. Yes, I thought preventive health was, you know, I do this to fight off that, but she said it comes in 4 stages.
Yes.
And she said it, I couldn't even type it. I was like, let me just.
You can watch the show later. It's on Facebook.
Yeah, I was like, let me just go ahead and listen, because this was really interesting to know the 4 different levels and I forgot, I don't have my light on. That's why I'm looking funny. I'm like, why do I look funny? And how to prevent them. So thank you. She is always a wealth of information.
I'm telling you.
Always, Dr. B, bring us things that we've not even thought about.
And she's one of the founding members of our medical squad. She's been here forever. So, Dr. B, you are amazing. We appreciate you.
Yes, we do. So we're going to look at preventive health on the other side. Dr. B came from the medical side. Now we're going to look at it from the holistic side with Ruth. We're going to talk about foods and spices and herbs and exercises, and we need both of them. And the scale to be balanced, we need our medical side and we need our naturopathic side. So hear from Sister Ruth about some of the things that we can do to prevent off and, you know, keep off some of these diseases and diseases and sicknesses.
Before Sister Ruth unmute herself and respond, I know you'll probably talk about this, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not giving up salmon. I'm not giving up fish. You know, I cannot be a vegetarian. I'm just saying.
No, you just have to change this. You just have to change the salmon.
Well, I don't eat the skin anymore. This show is unscripted. I just wanted to let her know I'm just making that declaration. So I will listen to everything else except giving up my fish.
Okay, right, but we gotta make sure we're getting the wild caught salmon that's not processed.
No, it's wild caught. No, I don't eat farm raised stuff. I eat wild caught.
Yeah, but you gotta make sure it's not been processed in China.
No, oh no.
Hard to find. That's very hard to find.
That's right.
Ruthie.
Sockeye Atlantic salmon. Sister Ruth, go ahead.
I don't know why. As soon as people see me, they think she's gonna tell me to stop eating meat. She's gonna tell me to stop eating fish, and I'm not gonna do it. First of all, your body is the most clear communicator that God has created.
Yes.
So if what you are eating is causing you a headache, inflammation, bloating, gas, diarrhea, constipation, your body's saying, I don't like that.
Yes.
The other thing that I've learned is this. We blame our parents for the diseases, but what we actually inherited were their poor eating habits. When we were growing up, we ate apples from the tree in the backyard and cherries from the cherry tree and my neighbor's fruits and veggies and all that. The industrial age came along, and now we eat packaged processed food that our body doesn't even know what it is. So when you give your body something and it doesn't know what it is, you end up with inflammation, headaches, hypertension, diabetes. I've been doing this since 1994. I was 2 years old. But anyway, Food is medicine, and Hippocrates said, "Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food." In 2019, Tufts University did a research study on senior citizens and discovered that if the government gave senior citizens a stipend to buy fruits and veggies instead of medication, it would save 100 billion with a B dollars per year. When God created food and herbs and spices, he knew exactly what he was doing. We came along and said, you know what? We're going to make some GMOs because God didn't know what he was doing. So we're going to try to make it better. We're going to make it so it doesn't spoil as quickly. When you eat from the ground, when most of your food comes from the ground, so Dr. Pam, yes, go ahead, eat your fish, just eat more fruits and veggies. 80 to 90% of your food should come from the earth. The other thing with our food is that it's picked early. And sometimes people say, well, it's ripening, but once it's been picked, it's no longer ripening on your counter, it's rotting because it's disconnected from the source. So life begets life. So I eat as much living food as possible so that I can live a better life. When it comes to our bodies, and Niasam, I believe, said a little bit about the value of our bodies are we take our cars in for regular checkups and we make sure our cars run properly. I was just looking at an article from 2017. Your body is worth $45 million. And we're putting hamburgers that cost $1 into a $45 million machine.
Woo!
Say that again, because
unleaded fats.
that was powerful.
Oh my God.
I just looked it up because I remember I saw something about how valuable our bodies are. Our bodies are worth $45 million. That's how much energy and power is in there.
Wow.
And we're giving that $45 million machine a hamburger that costs $1 or something else that is non-food, because it's either food or it's junk. There's no such thing as junk food. You're either eating food or you're eating junk. There's no in between. My bodies, my force, I've seen so many people get sick. And just 3 days ago, a woman I helped her change her regimen, and she called me to say she was stopping because she was feeling healthier and she lost her taste for meat.
Mm-hmm.
She gained over 100 pounds and I was trying to help her come back. But when she started feeling better and she lost her taste for meat and her taste buds began to change, she said, no, thank you.
Really?
Yes, really. So we have to make the decision, and Dr. said it. We have to take responsibility for our choices. I tell people I'm a nutrition boss because I'm in charge of what I put in my mouth.
Exactly.
When you take charge of what you put into your mouth, your life will change. I also encourage people that know and love the Lord, ask God, is this okay for me to eat? We bless food without his permission. We're blessing it. We didn't even ask if it was okay to eat it.
Yes.
You're just blessing it so you think it's okay now because you done blessed it.
We're practicing witchcraft without food.
And sometimes we pray against the calories,
Yes.
But
And God didn't even say have that in the first place.
I need to say this, Sister Ruth, you're right. My body complains every single time I eat the wrong carbohydrate. I had prayed a few years ago. I said, Father, if I will not reject this food, let this food reject me. So every time I eat, like with the pancake this morning, I had only 1 tablespoon of flour in there and my body still complained. I had to eat something we call bitter cola. That, and it's a story for another time. It takes care of indigestion, among other things. So I think we'll get a bitter cola expert here one of these days to talk about the importance of bitter cola. And within 30 minutes, that was gone. But Sister Ruth, you're so right. Our bodies would tell us Now, Sister Ruth, you know our people love fried chicken, not me. I do my chicken in the air fryer. So there is something that there is an alternative, because when I put the jerk chicken in the air fryer, it comes out better than chicken that was fried with oil. So there is hope for those who like fried chicken. But I think Dr. B's camera is off, but I want to pose this question to you, Sister Ruth, and to Dr. B. Before, I know we have Brother Ronald, they can weigh in later, and Sister Nancy, but what can we really say to our people about this fried foods? Because like I say, during this time, 2019, that was when I realized that the average oil, 1 cup is 2,000 calories. Needless to say, I avoid cooking with oil. That doesn't mean I don't cook. When I make eru, I do put oil. There's some Cameroonian dishes that we cannot do without oil. But I'm just saying, at least I am very conscious of it. But our people and fried chicken, Sister Ruth, I want you to talk to them, and Dr. B, I want you to talk to them. You don't know how many lives you're going to save. And that the way they fry the chicken, they soak it in butter. So a lot of the time that butter is flour and eggs and butter, you know. So let's talk to our people. When I say our people, I mean Black people who rock, Black people and people of African descent. We love chicken, especially fried chicken. A lot of them don't use grilled chicken, fried chicken. So Sister Ruth, I want you to talk to them and save some life. Dr. B, I want you to talk to them and save some life, because our motto is awareness, solution, and progress. This chicken issue, fried chicken by itself is not bad, but our people and the skin, they eat the skin. So, Sister Ruth, but Ronald is laughing.
Ronald must be guilty of eating skin over there.
We'll hear from him, Sister Ruth and Dr. B, then we can go to the others.
Well, for me, I believe life begets life, so I don't eat any animals at all. But if you're going to eat fried chicken, treat it like a treat once or twice a year at a special occasion. When you're eating it several times a week, or you're eating a lot of animal products, that's where you get into trouble. And I'm not just speaking off the top of my head. The science has proven the more fruits and veggies you eat, the better it is for your body. If you think that you cannot live without fried chicken, think about heart disease, high blood sugar, all those other things that happen to your body for this momentary pleasure when you have a $45 million machine and you're putting garbage into it. You treat your car better than your own body that's created in God's image. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna let Dr. B talk.
Okay.
So I'm going to say something that I always say to my patients when I meet them, because I think it's important, especially for our Black folk, to remember this stuff. I said, you know what? We always claim that slavery is over, right? We're done with slavery and colonialism and colonization and so on. But we still have slavery mentality. We were not born, and I tell them, I said, listen, I'm as African as it gets. I grew up on the continent. I grew up with grandparents. My grandparents who lived off of the land.
Yes.
So all of my grandparents were over 100 when they died. They did not suffer a lot when they died. I mean, it was very quick and easy. They were pretty much very functional. Of course, things change when you get older, but they were very functional all the way to the end. And they didn't do any diets. They didn't have any educational stuff. They didn't have any nutrition classes. They didn't go to the gym. There was no gym. What they did is they lived the way that nature dictates that we should live. And the reason why eating right or doing right is so difficult now is because by default, we have messed everything up. We have all this junk food and so on. Before I think the 60s or so, Americans didn't have an obesity problem. Once we started doing the food industry, food industrialization and everything, and we started changing the way, as Ms. Presley said, we started changing the way food is from its natural format. Our body started misbehaving. The other thing is that for those who call themselves Christians, if you go to the Bible, when God first made man, animal protein was not on the plate. It was the grass, the herbs, the nuts, the seeds, and so on. And God only finally told man to eat meat right around the time of the flood or after the flood. He just permitted it. That's his permissive will, not his perfect will. Well, again, I'm going to say here that my grandparents they were not vegetarian, they were not vegan, but the difference was that they didn't eat a lot of meat and animal protein. It was always like a treat on a plate. The plate was loaded with plants, different versions of plants, vegetables, whole grains, nuts and seeds, and so on. Drink of choice was usually water or some maybe like palm wine from a palm tree, which is again, so I would say that, we have inherited a lot of bad habits, like Ms. Presley said, and I tell my patients these things too, that the reason why we have diseases that run in families, one, there may be a genetic component, but the other thing is that there is a behavioral component. And you will always see in every family when they have certain health problems, one person changes the way they treat their body and all of a sudden they break away from that problem. So I said we have genetics and then we also have habits that we tend to do together. We eat junk together, we sit together, we drink together, we're lazy together. So guess what? We're going to get sick together. And if you want to break away from that, you need to change your habits. And the way I think about it is, if you pour gasoline on the floor, it's true you may not like the smell, but what's the biggest concern? The fire, right? If you don't have a source of fire in that room, you don't have to worry half as much. The gasoline is there, it's unpleasant, but you're never going to have a fire. And habits are just like the ignition that you throw on gasoline. So the jeans is just like gasoline that's spilled. But the real problem is, what do you do to light it up? And that's your behavior. And so why I say that we have not gotten away from slavery is that when our descendants came here and they were slaves, they didn't have many options. You ate what you could get your hands on.
Yes.
And that's what they handed down to their children and their grandchildren. And then we say, this is how Black folk eat. And I tell them, I said, this is not how Black folk eat. I'm a Black folk on the continent, and this is not how we eat. This is not how my parents ate. This is not how my grandparents ate. I didn't see them doing stuff like this. This is a learned habit because of slavery. And if you really tell me that you're no longer caught up in slavery, you need to stop eating like a slave. You have choices, you have options. Rich people do not eat carelessly. I've worked with a bunch of people that are doing well. They do not eat carelessly. And even those that came in with bad habits, you see a lot of them are trying to correct themselves. So I really think it's a mentality issue, and we need to just realize this is a slavery mentality. I'm eating like somebody who doesn't have options, when in fact I have options of making better choices and picking and choosing what goes into my body. And I think, when we talk to people like that, it really changes something, because they would swear, oh, we ate pork skin. And I'm like, what nonsense is that? What are you eating? That is dirty, but it's not an insult. It's not good for your body. And you're eating it because your grandparents were slaves and they took all the leftovers and dirt from the animals that they killed because they wouldn't let them eat the right parts, or they wouldn't let them eat healthy food. And you're still eating it now and you call yourself a free person. You are still a slave. You need to set yourself free from the brain all the way down.
Touchdown, 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 touchdown.
Thank you. Thank you.
Someone was about to dive into that ocean behind her when Dr. B was speaking, and this is touchdown. But let's hear from Brother Ronald and Sister Nancy. Even Sister Nancy is clapping.
Okay. First off, I do look after my preventive health. I see a doctor once a year for a regular checkup. See my eye doctor every 2 years, and I get my blood pressure checked on a daily basis because I have a blood pressure monitor. But I have a question for Dr. Ruth and Dr. Bob. I've been increasing my intake of fruits and vegetables, but I'm having a problem with increasing my calories because the fruits and vegetables do not have a lot of calories in them. So how do I do that?
Oh, by the way, her name is Dr. B, like B, like to be.
Dr. B, okay.
Not the letter B.
And I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV now.
You are a TV doctor. You are a TV doctor.
I am a TV doctor. When it comes to bulking up, you can add rice, you can add potatoes, you can add things to that will help put more calories. Just when you're adding those things, you don't have to add butter. Or just add some things that will bring some bulk, like oatmeal and that type of stuff, and that will help to increase the calories.
Before Dr. B speaks, I am very concerned about the rice and the potatoes. Those are dangerous. They cause a lot of inflammation and they have a lot of calories, unless somebody's been marketing something called low GI rice, even though I've not seen the glycemic index of that rice. but it's a hot thing now. Some people vouch by it. They call it diabetic rice. I don't know if anybody here is familiar with it. I actually have it in my kitchen, you know, and we need to be careful with what people market. But again, I'll just caution on those two items. I'm sure Sister Ruth means just a small quantity. Yeah, the oats, let it be the stone cut, unprocessed oats. But Dr. B, let me let you respond to that. And Dr. Ford, you are welcome. Dr. B, Brother Ronald was asking about how to increase his calorie intake because he's not getting enough from the fruits and vegetables.
So, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
By the way, before I even respond to that question, Ms. Presley, I don't know if you're familiar with lifestyle medicine. I think that's your tribe. You should join us in that tribe because we talk about all those things. When you're talking, it's like, I am so grateful that you're
That's our tribe. That's our tribe.
That's my tribe.
Yes, lifestyle medicine, American College of Lifestyle Medicine. Everybody's welcome there. We talk about all those different things, and it's amazing. I'm just going to put it this way, Mr. Joseph. You know, our grandparents, and I am so grateful that I grew up back there because there are some things that make a lot of sense to me now. They did not worry about calories. If you eat the right amount of food on your plate, you won't even have to think about calories. So on your plate, half of your plate is supposed to be vegetable and some fruit. Again, it depends if you're having issues with blood sugar control, you want to back off on the fruit a little bit. And then the other 3/4 of your plate. So on your plate, if you really, the only discussion you have is about 20% protein, and it does not have to be animal protein. It doesn't mean that you have to give it up. There's some people that don't want to give it up, but if you're doing the rest of the things right, your body's going to be okay. So I would say that the about 30% of that part of the plate is supposed to be whole grain. If you're eating straight from the soil, you know, that is the problem. Rice itself is also a processed food because they've taken out a lot of stuff from it. But if you're eating a lot of the whole grains, things that come straight up like the plantains, even the potatoes and stuff, you just don't want to overdo it. If you load up on vegetables, they're high in fiber. Your body does not feel full by virtue of just what you're eating. It feels full by virtue of volume. So we have stretch receptors in the stomach. So that's why if you drink a lot of water, you feel full. It may not last long, but your body knows, the stretch receptors tell your brain that we've had enough. So don't worry about the number of calories, worry about the quality of food you're putting on your plate. And I always tell people, go back to, you know, here in the US, the government doesn't tell us that we should be vegetarian or vegan, but they have it hidden in plain sight. If you go to the thing that says myplate.gov, I always show my patients because I didn't want to tell them before. And when I saw it, I was like, it's right here, myplate.gov, it replaced the pyramid, okay? On myplate.gov, about 2/3 of one side of the plate is vegetables, then you have some fruit on there, and then about another 2/3 is whole grains, you know, and then you have that protein where you can pick and choose, where you can do more plant protein, or you can always alternate with plant and animal protein. But if you're doing animal protein, it has to be lean. So if you do that, you're going to be getting enough of what your body needs. You don't have to worry. We have horses. They measure the strength of a car by horsepower. Horses are purely vegan. Cows are vegan.
Yes.
Chickens are almost vegan. I think I'll say almost vegan too, because maybe they may pick some human stuff on the floor, but chickens, so most animals that we eat are actually vegetarian or vegan. And horses never ever have a problem. If a horse steps on you, you will know. So you don't have to worry about the calories. A horse never says, should I eat some vegetables, or should I eat some peanut, or should I eat some beef? Horses eat grass. When they see, that's what they go for. That's what cows go for. Now we're stuffing them in pens and feeding them things that they naturally do not eat, which is why even our animals are sick and they're passing the illnesses to us. But if you leave them to run out there and eat, like if you see those nomads, those nomadic guys, they're walking with those cows, and they themselves never gain weight because they're constantly on the move. And the cows are pretty lean. If you go back home, you'll see we used to eat the animals with the skin on them, but it's because those animals were very lean. They did not have a lot of subcutaneous fat. We have it here. People have it, their pets have it, their animals have it, because we just feed and feed and feed, and not only feed, but we eat a lot of garbage, and then we don't burn the calories. So I'm going to say, sir, that focus on, I can send some resources to you that you can go and start looking at how to eat a healthy, balanced plate. And then you don't have to worry about the calories. Your body will do exactly what it was designed to do.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Also, Brother Ronald, the quality, like I said, the quality of fruits and vegetables. Are you eating organic? Are you eating those number 9 vegetables? Oh, here comes Dr. Goji. Rice. The food eating should not be processed. Make sure that jasmine rice is the best thing. When my son took me off of carbs, he went and bought me jasmine rice because the carb balance in jasmine rice was so low. And
not all of them. Not all of them. Be careful.
Not all of what?
The jasmine rice, because there are some that are not. It depends on which one. Yeah.
Oh, he makes sure he gets me one with the very low carbs. And in my bread, I'm not on bread, but when I do eat bread, it is whole grain, multi-grain, 12 grain, and I don't eat it every day. It's bread for me is a treat, but before it was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or a day, but no more. So I'm being very careful with what I'm eating and how I'm eating those things. Flatbread, I buy the carb balance flatbread wraps. So I eat a sandwich, and I just get tired of eating salad. I put that same salad in a carb balance wrap, and now I got a sandwich, and I'm satisfied. I don't know if it's a thing of my mind, that it's a sandwich now, it's a little fat piece of bread, but those are the things that help me.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Well, can we hear from Dr. Ford, and then Dr. Goji would weigh in before the top of, Sister Nancy, did you want to say something before Dr. Ford goes? We talk about preventive health.
I have access to Sister Ruth on a daily basis. Do I follow everything? Not quite yet. Am I trying? Yes. But is chocolate and candy a vegan?
Oh my God. Poison.
Is it whole food plant-based? Let's put it this way. Is it whole food plant-based? There goes the answer. What we push for is whole food plant-based nutrition.
The all natural cocoa.
Cocoa from, if you're just doing the cocoa, the chocolate, you know what they add. When you look at your chocolate, look at the ingredients that are in there. I can guarantee you it's not just cocoa. The same thing with peanut butter. A lot of peanut butter, they have like 15 ingredients.
That's why I always read the label. I make sure like what's on the label. Read the label. Peanut butter must have peanuts. I don't need to see anything else.
There you go.
Can I just throw in something?
Yes.
I think sometimes too we forget every human being is not going to be at the same place at the same time. Yeah. In the human population, we have what we call the bell curve. Most people fall in the middle. Then you always have people at the extremes, and those are people that are maybe really good at doing certain things, but most people kind of want to stay in the middle. And so I always try to I'll tell them this is the ideal way to eat. You may not be able to accomplish that because everybody's not going to be able to go vegetarian or vegan. I mean, there's some people who would not do it. And that doesn't mean they're going to die. It just means my goal is for you to get as close to the right thing as possible. So if you're on the bell curve, be on the better side of the bell curve. Push yourself closer to whole food plant-based. And then, chocolate once in a while. I mean, is it something that you would normally recommend it? No, but once in a while, you can have a little piece and say, okay, I satisfied my chocolate urge. But you should understand that it is really, 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 really a treat. It should not be something that you eat all the time. And that's really it. We don't want to take away the joy of living. There's some people, if they don't taste the chocolate, they're not going to be happy. So get a tiny piece and teach yourself to be happy with a tiny piece every once in a blue moon.
Thank you, Dr. B.
I agree.
Dr. Ford, we want to hear from you, and then Dr. Goji before the top of the hour. We're talking about preventive health. And since you joined us late, and there were Dr. B and Sister Ruth really laid it down, I will advise you to watch the show on Facebook. Dr. Ford, go ahead. Preventive health.
I don't have a great deal to say. I'm listening to the discussion around rice. I just came back from a very serious rice culture, Liberia. But interestingly enough, I learned that they grow something called country rice or red rice that is almost zero starch.
Are you serious?
I'm sorry?
Really?
Are you serious?
Yeah, but because the Chinese imported rice has become habit, and because the government has subsidized that rice, it makes it almost impractical for people to buy the locally produced rice.
Wow.
I am planning to bring back a couple of bags of each because I've already talked to a couple of laboratories. I'm interested in the nutritional value of those two varieties. I have discovered that at the University of Liberia, they're just building a food science program, so they haven't studied it. We need to know more about the relative value of nutrients in those two rices. And if it turns out that the country rice is better, less starch, but at least as nutritional, then we need to start promoting that rice and the agricultural production of that rice. So that's my contribution to
Well,
that.
you know, Dr. Ford, what you're saying is going back to what Dr. B mentioned about slave mentality. Even the people, the local people will patronize the Chinese adulterated rice than the locally grown rice. Please, when you're coming back, make sure you bring me one because
Yeah, bring me one too.
Oh, okay.
I do.
And we do, Dr. B wants also, Dr. Ford, you're not going to come back with any clothes, just bring red rice. No, we need to know what the glycemic index is and the glycemic index of that rice is. But Dr. Ogoji, we want to hear from you before we go to the top of the hour. You're welcome.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, now
We can hear you. Welcome.
Yeah. Well, my take on preventive health when it comes to diet and eating is eat in moderation. Moderation. Well, the ideal is to plant-based meal. That's ideal, but I love meat.
Mr. Ruth, there you go.
Most Africans love meat.
I eat meat all the time.
So yeah.
I grill my meat.
Good.
When I boil them, I drain the water from the meat, put it in the fridge. The following morning, there'll be a layer of cholesterol. I take it out. I have the pure chicken or meat broth to eat with. You know, so moderation is the key. And then number two is try not to gain weight. You know, if you don't gain weight at all, you are doing good. If you are not gaining weight, you are doing good. Because if you gain 5 pounds a year, in 10 years, it's 50 pounds.
Oh my God.
So if you don't gain at all, you're doing good. Then if you maintain the weight for a couple of years, then you take a move to lose 5 pounds or 10 pounds. So moderation, then exercise, and then eat what you like, but in moderation. But ideal, plant-based food, small amount of meat, small amount of sweets. But I eat a lot of meat. I eat a lot of meat for sure. And I have a habit personally when eating rice, I cannot just eat rice. I must have green peas there. I must have beans. I must have broccoli. So I make small amount of rice and some vegetable to make it taste better and more healthy.
Good.
So that's what I do myself, and that way I try to maintain the same weight. And I lose and I gain, but my weight has been the same for the past 10 years, which is not bad.
Good for you.
Wonderful.
Awesome. Well, we have 3 minutes, less than 3 minutes to the top of the hour. Before I pull up the Ambassador Lisa's anthem, I want to pose a question to Dr. B, Sister Ruth, and Dr. Ogoji. And it's about still in this same topic about preventive health. You know, one, I want us to address the issue of drinking water, because I think most of the health problems we have come from inadequate intake of water. Two, there are still some crazy people going out there telling people not to take the vaccine. And some of them are dying. Some of those people who are saying those things, they are losing their lives. You know, me, prior to this pandemic, COVID-19, I was not interested in vaccines. You know, I participated in vaccine studies, and I don't like taking medications, period. I know their side effects. That's just me, you know, even from when I was a child. But I want us to talk about, you know, the vaccine part of the preventative health also. So these two things I want our doctors and Sister Ruth to address when we come back. Let me look for the anthem, you know, and while I'm doing that, there is, let me share this video, because this young man I spoke with him the other day, and I have a meeting with him right after this show. We're hoping to get him on the so it couldn't open. Well, let me see. We're hoping to get him on this show next Sunday. You guys, let me know what you see. If you see this, I'm trying to open a video. What do you see on my screen?
There was a problem.
Can't preview file.
Wait.
What's the problem?
You guys see it?
From trash, meet Emmanuel. He lives in Sierra.
There's no video.
There's no video.
No,
Okay,
no
that's
video.
no, that's fine. Let me play the anthem. Hold on, I'll play our anthem. I was trying to share. So this guy, he made a solar car out of trash. He made a solar car out of trash. So Ambassador Lisa, that video is on your on the WhatsApp, on the production team WhatsApp. If you can, you can share it when you are talking. But we are hoping to have him here next week. But let me share the anthem, you know. Hold on a second. Let me share our anthem. You guys let me know if you can see the anthem.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's there.
Yeah.
Good volume.
Fine. Africans, Africans from Africa. 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 Africans have many bright ideas. If only you let us share. If you really want to know my history, please come, sit down, listen to my story. God gave us a wisdom. He guides our footsteps, makes us shine and transform. Hey, as one people with so many cultures, let it be their one. Stand up, Africans. Let's say Africa. Let us all unite behind Africaonline Media Corporation. Stand up, Africans. Let's say Africa. It's time to come together, promote awareness, progress, and solution. Hey, Africans, Africans, Africa. Africans, Africans, Africa. Africans, Africans, Africa. All Africans can rally for a common cause, to believe without judgment in what our brother does, to identify and resolve our challenges, to allow each other's ideas without regard to standards. As one people with so many cultures, yes, indeed we are one. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. Let us solve all the problems plaguing our continent. Stand up, Africans. Let's save Africa. Let us empower Africans in and out of Africa. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. Africaonline Media Corporation, that's a good way to start. Stand up, Africans. Let's save Africa. They have all the resources we need to benefit our society. Oh. There will be free education for everyone. We believe prosperity for Africans. We believe medical facilitation for Africans. We believe stand up, Africa, yes, for Africa. Africaonline Media Corporation, that's a good way to start. Stand up, Africans, let's see Africa. Africa is the cradle of civilization, the motherland. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. We were enslaved not because we were weak, but because of our hospitality. Africans, let's see Africa. Jump on the Africaonline miracle jet. Don't be late. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. Together we shall succeed. Together we will win. Stand up, Africans. Let's see Africa. We are writing our own story. The truth and we shall tell it to the world. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. No more lies. Africans own Africa.
No more lies. Africans own Africa. Ambassador Lisa, I don't know if you can share the video. There's some stuff also, Dr. B, you may just want to share the link. I mean, just say the link, you know, but before Ambassador Lisa talks about the borehole, I need to speak to our French brothers and sisters. This young man, his name is Emmanuel Mansawa, that's his name. He'll be here next Sunday. I have a meeting with him today and right after this, and I'll be confirming that meeting. But he developed a solar powered vehicle that is operational from trash. This is a true story. His name is Emmanuel Mansari. That's his name. I spoke with him a couple of days ago, and I'll be having a meeting with him right after the show. You know, unfortunately, the university turned him down from engineering. Can you imagine that? And he's doing geology. That is a problem. So we're going to be talking, I'm going to be talking with him. I want to have him on the show. But next week, we're going to be talking about Black inventors and innovators. So if you know anybody, you know, of African descent who is an inventor or an innovator, we want them to be on this show. That next week, we may end up making that show 2 hours. We can extend the show. It's our show. And the show is unscripted. So we're not on anybody's time. We are on our own time. That's the beauty of this show. So Ambassador Lisa, are you able to share that video?
No, I didn't get it, pull it up.
That's fine. If you're not able, I'll just add it to our playlist and I'll share it next week. Benia, go ahead and no, Ambassador Lisa, go ahead and do your thing, and then Niason will speak to our French people.
Yes. Africaonline Media Corporation has an ongoing fundraiser. It is called Operation Borehole 55, where we are desiring, not just desiring, it is not just a dream, it is now becoming a reality, where we want to put a borehole in every country on the continent of Africa. We had a fundraiser in 2020, and we have already started, and our first borehole in Sierra Leone is completed. And we will be moving on to Kenya, but we cannot do this without your help. We need your help. We want you to donate any amount of money. All of it would be used towards the borehole project. Any rand, any dollar, any pound, any shilling, any naira, it will all go towards our borehole project, because we have access to good water. We have access to running water whenever we want, but our children on the continent do not. Most of us already know that our babies are up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, walking to the river before school without any food to get water to bring back home for the family. And their breakfast most of the time is just a cup of tea. maybe a weak cup of porridge. That's not even strength. That's not even giving them any strength and energy after they've walked 2 and 3 miles to the river and 2 and 3 miles back. So would you not be a dear and help us out with any donation? You can make a one-time donation. You can make a monthly donation. Anytime you think about it, just go over to Africaonline. The website is www.africaonlinetv.org and make a donation towards the borehole project. We would so appreciate it. Every dime goes towards the project. There's no administrative fees coming out of any of the monies towards our borehole project. Thank you so much. We look forward to you helping us this year. And Neasam, there you go.
Merci, ambassadrice. Salut à tout le monde. Nous vous invitons, comme d'habitude, de venir vers nous, faire votre contribution pour qu'on puisse mettre des points d'eau, des adductions d'eau potable dans les différents pays africains. Le Borehole 55, c'est pour construire les points d'eau dans les différents pays. On a commencé au Sierra Leone, où notre tout premier est déjà en cours. C'est déjà, ça coule déjà, l'eau coule déjà, bien que on ne voit pas encore, mais on est en train de finaliser. Le prochain sera au Kenya. Nous vous prions de donner un peu de sous pour qu'on puisse continuer ce projet de Operation Borehole 55. Merci beaucoup. Et la semaine prochaine, notre sujet sera sur les inventions, les inventaires, c'est-à-dire ceux-là qui peuvent créer des choses à partir de leur connaissance. Nous vous prions de se joindre à nous pour que la semaine prochaine, nous puissions continuer avec notre projet. And talking about bitter cola, I just wanted to show for Ambassador Lisa and Sister Ruth, these are the seeds, these are the what we eat. That one is not peeled yet. You take off the skin and it comes out white like that, and you chew on it, and it has a bitter taste anyway, but it's good. And we'll be talking about that later on. But you can Google it. I think our chair has a link to that, I believe. She has seen it, I think, on the internet, and it is there on the internet.
There is, as a matter of fact, there was a time when in 2009, when I traveled to Abuja, we brought some back. I wanted one of the big labs here in Houston that was in partnership with to isolate the content, you know. But before we go back to the topic, Dr. B, in case there are people out there, you know, that need your services, not for free. This one is free, but that need your services, you know. How can they become your patients? I'm talking about paying patients, not free. If they want a free service, let them tune into Africaonline, let them go to Facebook. You are there almost, you know, at least 6 times a year. You know, and then Sister Ruth also, when next you speak, let's give them our speakers, Sister Ruth and Dr. Tazo, to tell our viewers how they can get in touch with them, not for free, please. Dr. B is busy, Sister Ruth. So Dr. B, tell our viewers how they can get in touch with you, how they can become your patients. You know, I'm talking about directly, not through any organization or through any companies. Just, you know, just how they can, if you have a website or if you have a business, you know, if not, they can inbox us and we'll forward it to you. And then Sister Ruth after Dr. B.
Well, thank you so much, Reverend Pam, for doing that. I'm actually in the process of setting up something.
Awesome.
So I don't have the official website to give you yet.
Awesome.
But you can inbox me through Africaonline and I'll be more than happy to work with you.
Awesome.
And
awesome.
when my site is ready, you can find me online. I'm not there yet.
When your site is ready, we're going to link it to our website, you know, and when we started, we had a corner for our doctors, you know, but we didn't have anybody to manage it. There were a few articles that were put there. We didn't have anybody to manage it. So and let us know whatever we can do to help. You know, I'm a businesswoman, so I'll give you free business consultation. You know, anything we can do to support, we'll be glad to do it. Sister Ruth, please tell our viewers how they can get in touch with you, not for free services. If they want free services, then go to our Facebook page, but for paid services.
My website is eatlikeacow.com.
Eat like a cow?
.com. Yes.
I'm gonna check it out.
So that way you won't forget that. And my email is the same, info@eatlikeacow.com.
Okay, good. I think we lost Dr. Ogoji for a second there. So now, yeah, I need you guys to address the issue that I mentioned with water and vaccines as far as preventive health, starting with you, Dr. B, and then Sister Ruth and Dr. Ogoji.
I'm going to start with let me just do a brief thing on the vaccine. We did a talk on vaccine about a year ago.
Yes.
And of course, a lot of things have changed, but the concept has not changed.
Yes.
You know, I am going to throw in a little something because I think that we have beaten this horse to death.
Yes.
I was listening to Dr. Miles Monroe yesterday, and he talked about how to take control of your mind. And you know, the human being is made up of the mind, the body, the soul, and the spirit.
Yeah.
And the soul basically is made up of the mind, the emotions, and the will.
Yes.
And that's where we do a lot of decision making. You know, the soul collects information from the outside because when you see stuff, you have to get it and you have to process it, and then it sends it to your spirit. And so the soul acts as a go-between your body and your spirit, and it's taking information back and forth. And one of the things that happens with us is that when we keep exposing ourselves to information, it leaves from our conscious mind to our subconscious. Your conscious mind basically is like a temporary hold. You can forget things when they're in your conscious mind, but when they go into your subconscious, it becomes a hidden you. That's what they call your heart. And so I think over time, people's ideas have become baked in because there's a lot of false information going around. And I think it's become a subconscious issue. And I don't think that any of us can fix that. You know, but I think the data speaks for itself. When you go into the hospitals now, most of the people that are getting really sick, 90-something%, are those that are not vaccinated. Exactly. Most of the people in the ICU are not vaccinated, and most of the people that die from COVID are not vaccinated. Now, if people choose to ignore that information, I think it's gotten to a point where there's really no point in having this conversation anymore. And what I'll tell you personally, as I experience in clinic, is that patients are becoming more rude and more aggressive, and they have the Dunning-Kruger effect. You know, they think they know everything. So I don't have time to invest arguing with them about stuff anymore. If somebody else, I'm like, you know, you need to really do this. Or if somebody asks me to explain stuff to them, I can explain. But as far as trying to co-opt people to do it, honestly speaking, I think if you have decided that it's okay for you to take the risk and it's okay for you to give up, that's fine. I pray for you. I hope that you survive everything that's happening. And if you die, hopefully you have Jesus. We'll meet on the other side. That's where I am right now. I can't tell you how many unfortunate incidents we've had with patients. And I mean, some of them are so rude and so disrespectful, but they still come to you for care. And I'm thinking, if you don't trust my opinion or my judgment, which is why are you coming to see me? I mean, how do you know I'm not deceiving you with everything else? Exactly. How do you know I'm not fake with everything else? But that's another conversation for another day. So I think at this point, people that don't want to believe they already have stuff baked into them about what the vaccines are. Some people say it's the Antichrist. Some people say they want to put a chip in, 666 and so on. I'm a Christian and I'm not convinced about those. And I'm also keep being watchful. But right now, this is pure science, you know, but you can't help it when people have decided to go down the other pathway. You can't help it.
Dr. B, thank you so much. And that's the reason why we are not doing shows on that anymore. You know, in 2020, all our shows were connected to the vaccine. I don't even think, besides the main cable station, I don't think anybody did more shows about the vaccines than we did. You know, so we've done our part. But since we're talking about preventive, not just with the COVID-19 or coronavirus, but even the flu and, you know, hepatitis, you know, for the children, you know, measles, chickenpox, and all those things. That's all part of the vaccine, not just this, but we wanted that to be addressed. And you are right, you know, and for those, initially I was not going to take it, but I took it because of herd immunity, and I've taken my booster. But those of you who were worried about being turned into some animal or something, enough people have taken the vaccine around the world. If that was going to happen, you know, it should have happened. You'll be surprised how many anti-vaxxers are on their dying bed are begging people now to go take the vaccine. Yep. So, Sister Ruth and then Dr. Ogoji, the water. Dr. B, you didn't address the water, drinking water as part of preventive health. So the two questions before the top of the hour were, water as a means of preventing, because lack of water is linked to most of the diseases that we face, and then the vaccine. So Dr. B, if you address the water, then we'll go to Sister Ruth and then Dr. Ogoji.
So the human body, at least 60 to 70% of it is made up of water. So I call our bodies a water machine. And how do you run a water machine without water? And I would personally tell you on days that I get really busy and I don't keep up with my water, I can tell you the things that go wrong. My eyes give me trouble. They get really dry because I can't shed tears to clean out my eyes. My throat, my mouth are very dry. If I have a sinus infection, it doesn't clear up because everything just gets thick. You know, everything gets stopped up in your body. Water is meant to cleanse the body. It's meant to rinse things out, to keep things moving. And when things are not moving in your body, I remember one of our professors told us the body does not like to be stopped up. Whenever something is stopped up in your body, you're going to have a problem. Water helps things get moving, including your bowels. If you're not drinking enough water, you're going to have trouble moving your bowels. You're going to have trouble with your urine. Your urine is going to be thick and concentrated, and you're not going to be able to flush out the bacteria that build up. And so you're more likely to have a urinary tract infection. You're more likely to have blood clots because when you're not drinking enough water, your blood actually gets thicker. It's not dilute as it should be. So there are so many reasons why we should drink water. And you'll find even with headaches, even with hunger pangs, if you drink enough water, you're going to find that you're able to subdue those things. So water is not really an option for us. It's a requirement for life. You can only go about 6 days without water. You can go up to 40 without food. Of course, you're going to be hungry, but you can go up to 40 days without food, but not that much without water. And so I'm going to recommend, again, people that don't drink water, I ask them, have you ever taken a shower with soda or with some beer? No. Why not? Because it doesn't make any sense. So why are you rinsing the inside of your body with things that are not water?
Awesome, Sister Ruth and then Dr. Ogoji. And then yes, I think we'll have to do a round because this young man is coming on at 4:30.
Okay. When it comes to the vaccine, I don't talk about it anymore. I'm just
okay.
I'm done with all done.
Water.
When it comes to water, yes, it is essential. And I don't just, Dr. B and I could probably talk all day about health things and just how people just say the weirdest things. Drink water. And I remember years ago, about 10 years ago, my sister-in-law had cancer. The doctor said to her, if you would just drink some water, your body would feel better. And she kept saying, I can't drink it. I don't like it. When it comes to being sick or drinking water, I'm going to drink water. Yeah. I'm going to love water. I'm going to learn how to love it.
Yes.
It's going to become my best friend. And water is my best friend. When I first get up, I have like 3 glasses of water when I first get up. But just throughout the day, just drink it. Is the best thing one of the best things you can do for your body is water.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Ogoji. You're muted. Dr. Ogoji, you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. We can hear you.
Can you see me?
We can see you. Love the heart.
Thank you. So I'll talk about water first. Water, as we all heard, is a major part of is a major organ of our body. Only 70% of our body is water. So if you drink water, your body is happy. If your body is not happy, every other thing goes wrong. And as Dr. B just said, if I don't drink water, like I drink 3 glasses of water first thing in the morning. First thing, that's my water bottle. So I drink this and I feel like I drink about 4 or 5 of these every day.
Awesome.
And the more I drink, the better for me. So water solves a lot of problems. One, it cuts obesity. Before you eat food, drink 2 or 3 glasses of water, you're gonna get filled up quickly.
Yes.
Sometimes if you're hungry, you think you need to eat some food, just drink a glass of water, that hunger urge will go. Especially if your dinner time is 6 o'clock and you feel very hungry by 4. A glass of water by 4, a glass of water by 5 will make you avoid any of those granola bars or those cakes or donuts that may be hanging around until your dinner time comes. Even if you feel like you are hungry at bedtime, drink a glass of water, that will take care of you. So water is food, and water complements everything. So I cannot recommend that enough. I drink a lot of water myself, and it's the key to losing weight. I lost about 10 pounds in the past 1 year, and because I increased my water intake.
Wow.
Just increase water intake make you lose 10 pounds. Because that reduces the amount of junks I eat to fill up my space. So that's water for you. Well, water is very important. Drink and drink and drink and drink. There's nothing like too much water unless you start drinking gallons of water, then develop all
Water
intoxication, which is very, very unlikely to happen, but can happen.
Yeah.
Then number two, I tell people, try not to, because when somebody doesn't like water, that means when growing up, he has been drinking flavored water.
Okay,
Know that, look, this is. Even now my kids are older, I mean, they're still babies, they are 10, 11, 12. When they were babies, you don't drink a soda until you drink a glass of water. It was a requirement for soda. And that actually has helped now, they all like to drink water. But if you don't bring that habit, you know, they'll start drinking soda and soda and soda, then they want to put something in their water and make it sweet. And there are a lot of things you can put in water, but for me, if it's not water, it's not water.
That's right.
No amount of flavor will make the water taste like water. It will not satisfy me. Water is water. Going to the vaccine. Vaccine, as we know, is the most important health invention of mankind. During the COVID vaccine pandemic, I was one of those people that says, you know, I wouldn't take this vaccine for now because of what's going on in the news. I said that myself. But as soon as it was approved in the US, Canada, Australia, UK, France. I know that Bill Gates cannot control all these people. So Bill Gates can control America, but he cannot control the United Kingdom, the Australia, the Canada, the France, the Germany. So it was approved around the same time. That showed me that there's some evidence of science for this. So, and I took my shots, and I mean, you can't imagine, I was gone for 3 months. During that 3 months, I traveled around the world. I went to so many different countries, so many different places. I was in Africa, a lot of places in Africa, nobody vaccinated, and a lot of COVID, and I never got COVID. So I'm not saying vaccine will give you 100% protection, but one, it will protect you from getting severe disease, and two, you actually protect from getting the disease, but if you get it, the effect will be severe. So, and I am one of 9 kids, okay? We're all surviving and living. Nobody died.
Awesome.
My older brother is 51. My baby is about 20 something. I would say my mom vaccinated all of us.
Awesome.
This is not true of other kids that grew up in Africa with family of 9, 10. 2 or 3 will die of vaccine preventable disease. So vaccines have kept me alive, has kept the world alive. So why not keep trusting what has been working? There's a reason why those days a woman will have 20 kids because 12 will die. That number reduced to 10, and now it's gone down to 5, because if you vaccinate your kids, measles, chickenpox, smallpox will not kill you. So that goes through with the vaccine, COVID vaccine. The luck with the COVID vaccine is that it affects the elderly. People who are about to go to their grave. That's the luck we have in Africa. We don't have that population. People argue with me. My grandfather is 120 years. How many of your grandfather are there? Ask a 70-year-old guy, a 80-year-old guy in Nigeria. How many of your classmates do you know around? He will tell you there are 20, only one is around. Why in the developed world, that's a 70-year-old guy, 80. There's still about 15 of them around. People die in the 80s, not in the 60s. That's what I saved from the vaccine in Africa, from COVID in Africa, because we don't have the elderly population. I'm not sure if it's a savior. We don't have the people at risk.
Yes.
Lots of people are taking it for granted.
Thank you so much. Niasong, that's fine. Let's take a round, and this young man can join us at the end of the show. That's fine. Let's take a round, and then once they come, then the others can drop, and he can stay on, or they can stay. You know, I'll just stop streaming. So
and for the round of the table, thank you, Reverend Bam. For the round of the table, I'm going to start with Brother Ronald, please.
Yeah, everything was well. I'm glad I learned a lot, especially about how to increase my calorie intake so I can increase my energy. But yes, preventive care and preventive health is very important for us to live a healthy and high quality life. Thank you.
Thank you, very much. Dr. Ogo, you're a medical squad, but you have a last word on this.
Well, all I would say is drink water, drink water, drink water. Get a shot. Don't get the COVID.
Thank you very much. Sister Ruth, the turn is yours for your last word on the show. Preventive healthcare.
Listen to your body. It knows exactly what you need.
Sister Nancy, I know you are cheering, but I believe you have something to say as your last word.
Thank you all. I'm going to try to go off candy starting today. I'm eating less chocolate and less candy. That was the main part of my diet, was candy and chocolate.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna unmain it. I'm gonna let it go. I'm letting it go right now. I said it out loud.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Okay. I see our other guest is around.
No,
Dr.
that's
B.
Emmanuel. He's welcome. He's collecting his this thing. That's the guy with the solar, the guy who invented the solar car.
Okay.
So yeah, but Emmanuel, you're welcome. Just stay on. All right, yes, I'll continue.
Yes.
Okay. Ambassador Lisa, you wanted me to take you first before Dr. B. Yes, so go ahead.
Oh, okay. My last word, everything in moderation. Drink your water, make sure it's good water. Make sure you do not cook your vegetables to death, because then you spend time eating vegetables, okay? Boil that water really hot and then put your vegetables in it and blanch it, season it really well so that your vegetables still have life and it will give your body life. And Sister Nancy, you don't have to give up all of your chocolate.
No, let her give it up. Don't be a spoiler.
No, you don't have to give it all.
Thank you. Thank you.
I do Dove.
Thank you.
You have to get a decision to give them up. Oh God.
Okay.
I do Dove chocolate.
It's time for me.
And I eat one.
But I don't know how to eat a little bit. No,
Yes.
I don't know how to eat a little bit.
Oh, you don't know how to eat a little bit. Okay, then you got to give it up.
The family
All
bag.
right. All right.
Okay.
Let's go to Dr. B to give us her last word.
Well,
Dr. B, it's been a pleasure as always. Your last word on preventive health.
like we said, prevention is, in fact, the only thing that has really extended the life of human beings in the last century has been preventive measures, public health preventive measures. Hygiene, food handling, water and sewage management, vaccination practices, and just keeping the environment clean. But this is the catch. They call it the prevention paradox. A preventive measure which brings much benefit to the population often offers little to each participating individual. But you see, the problem is that we are human beings and we're social beings. Let's not be selfish and think about how does this benefit me individually. The truth of the matter is that, yeah, when the sun is shining, it shines on all of us, but you cannot take the sun home into your own house. Everybody gets the benefit. So let's enjoy the benefits of prevention. Let's be a part of the solution and not part of the problem. And let's think about how we can save the boat called the boat of life. We're all in this boat. If it sinks, we sink together. If it stays afloat, we are afloat together. So let's keep the boat of life afloat by doing everything we can to prevent disease and promote health. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Dr. B, and a pleasure, my regards, and a happy new year again. Our chair, Reverend Pam, your last word.
Okay, this is so awesome. I want to encourage everybody to share this video. This is free information. We're not charging you, save somebody's life. You know, what you put in your body is what is going to get out, you know. And for those who like what they call swallow in Nigeria or fufu, there are alternatives now. You can use cabbage and mix it maybe with oat fufu, cut down the amount of carbohydrates that you're using in your fufu. They're even using eggplant now to make amala. So look up all those alternatives on YouTube, on the internet, you know, to cut those down. But I can tell you this, oat fufu goes with everything. I don't care what kind of soup. But thank you guys so much. And I'm going to stop streaming because we have our young